David, thank you for being here today, and we look forward to hearing more about Fiji and Tonga.
Thank you, Susan, and thank you for having me. It's a great initiative and put on by the APSA team. Much appreciated. So yeah, Yacht Help's been around since 1988, servicing super yachts, and as mentioned, we operate in both Tonga and Fiji. And so we're located in the central Pacific, halfway between Tahiti and the East Coast Australia. We're 1,000 miles north of Brisbane. So that central location makes Fiji like a natural hub for tourism, trade and super yachts in the region. It also gives us good connections for provisioning and parts. We have direct flights and daily flights from Hong Kong, Los Angeles, Singapore, New Zealand, all the major Pacific islands. That's into Fiji. And Tonga has direct flights from Australia and New Zealand. So we're lucky enough to live in a tropical maritime climate, which is bathed in trade winds for about 65% of the year. So our best season for cruising is our winter season, which is between April and November. So that, for everybody who's in Europe, that's the opposite of the Caribbean season. Okay, and so facilities in the region. So Tonga doesn't yet have a super yacht marina. You can bunker off the main wharfs for super yachts. Provisions are available locally. You can also import. Again, it's a 2.5-hour flight from New Zealand, so it's really quite quick to get things into Tonga. So Fiji has Port Denarau Marina, which has been set up for many years, and that can take 20 super yachts up to 85 meters with 5-meter draft. And coming online in 2022 is Naui Island Marina, which is a brand new development. And that will be able to berth 19 super yachts, again, up to 85 meters with 6-meter draft. And so we're quite excited about the new development. Fiji will see about 60 super yacht visits a year. And we're hoping by the end of the development of Naui Island that both marinas will be working at full capacity. We do have a dry dock set up. If any vessel needs to come out of the water for any reason, we can offer that security. The cruising in Tonga. Tonga's got 3 main groups: the southern Tonga Tapu, the central Hapai, and the northern Vavau. Well known for its diving in particular. A central group is like a group of atolls, and very well known for that. And northern group, Vavau, is like a rock island, looks like Palau in Micronesia. And there's some great cruising in there. One of the main attractions of Tonga, and it's really well known for, is the prevalence of humpback whales. So the whale season is from July through to October, when all the humpback whales come up from the Southern Ocean to breed around the islands. And many yacht crews have commented that they're so prevalent, they actually stop pointing them out to each other. So there are some rules. You can't just go willy-nilly sort of chasing the whales. You need to have an official Tongan guide with you. But the whales are right throughout the group. So that's one of the major attractions. The culture. So these islands, they really are the islands of smiles. There's not much tourism in Tonga, and they're genuinely happy to see you when you rock up on their shores. Quite heart-melting in the way the culture will respond and look after you, welcome you in. Okay, so moving on to Fiji. So Fiji is substantially larger. So Fiji's 300 islands and offers a huge variety. We have high islands, we have atolls, we've got the boutique 5-star resorts, and we've got a lot of uninhabited, untouched islands that you can cruise. Diving is great. Lots of micro life and small things. There's some quite good sharks and pelagic life around the islands as well. And so the one of the major attractions for super yachts is the Lau group. So this is a group of islands that's unique in its geology, and it has these sort of limestone formations. It's also unique. It was closed for many years to tourism. The chiefs of that region wouldn't allow yachts or anybody in, and they've now, since the last 10 years, it's been open. And they've kept the culture very traditional. So apart from its natural beauty, you can go and see the natural culture of Fiji. And so when you rock up or come and anchor out in front of an island, one of the remote outer islands, you'll see all the village kids will come down to the beach, and they're just eager to see you, and they're waiting for you to come ashore, and there's an excitement in the air. They'll lead you up the beach, and they'll take you to the chief's house, where you'll have to sit down in a semicircle. The chief will call the elders, and you'll have to do the welcome ceremony. So in order to do that, you need to show up with a bundle of kava roots. Kava roots are made from a pepper plant, and they're pounded up into the local beverage, which is called kava. So you have this package of roots, and you offer them to the chief, and then there's some chanting and clapping. And after that, a few minutes, then you are now a guest of the chief, and you'll be warmly welcomed by the village and taken and shown around. And for those, during that process, you can't help but sort of think of the European visitors of old, walking up the beaches, because the culture and the ceremony is still so strong and prevalent amongst the islanders. Okay. So super yacht charter. So Fiji has some super yacht charter rules. They've had it for many years now. It's based around a 5% tax on the gross charter rates. You must have a commercial survey to carry passengers, and it's available to super yachts over 24 meters. Just a picture at the top right there, that's Port Denarau Marina. That's Mirabella 5 pre-refit. And next to her is Dragonfly, who is a regular visitor to Fiji. The island on the left, sorry, is that's known as Castaway Island. That's where the famous movie with Tom Hanks was filmed at that island. Okay. So COVID rules. So Tonga has closed, is still closed. They've never had a COVID case, and they intend to stay closed to the end of the year. Fiji is open to yachts, crew, owners, and charterers. So Fiji's borders are closed to everybody else. So they are the only group of people that are allowed into Fiji to get into the islands. So the process is yachts do 14 days quarantine at anchor, minus their passage time. So most yachts coming down from Tahiti, for example, would be 8 or 9 days, possibly 10 days at sea. And so then you've got 4 or 5 days in quarantine, then you are, after which you are free to cruise the islands. You can go anywhere. Now, crew can fly in on a case-by-case basis, and they need to do 14 days in hotel quarantine. So owners and charterers can fly in and go and join their boats directly from the airport. And what they're allowed to do is cruise Fiji in quarantine. And this allows them to go anywhere in Fiji, engage in all the usual activities of diving, beach visits, kiting, whatever they want to do, snorkeling, obviously. The only thing they're not allowed to do is mix with the local population. They're not allowed to go to villages, and they have to stay away from the local population. In order to do this, there's some monitoring involved, which so far we've used chase boats, where we'll have a naval monitor that will go on a chase boat, keeping half a mile away at all times, and just making sure that no villagers come out or there's an accident in the quarantine. So you can do that for 14 days, after which you are again free to cruise Fiji as you see fit. Fiji hopes to be vaccinated by August, which will allow the borders to open completely. But like everybody else, we wait with bated breath for the vaccines to arrive. Next slide, please. And that's it. That's a summary of the islands. Obviously, there's a lot of details that could be gone into, but thank you for watching. Anybody who wants more details, we're available through Yacht Help online or by email. And if anybody's got any questions and answers, I'm happy to answer them.
Thanks, David. Look, it's great to get that real information from somebody on the ground. Fiji has a special place for us in Hong Kong in that we love the guys that come over for the rugby sevens and usually win. But I've got a question for you that's come up on the chat that says, what about access to Minerva Reef? Is there any dispute going on between Fiji and Tonga?
Interesting question. So there's no real dispute, but yes, it's claimed by both nations. But there's no real tussle about it. Until COVID, it was open. Yachts used to go there freely. Superyachts, everybody else was able to go and visit. But since COVID, Tonga did send a patrol boat there and actually asked some of the yachts to leave. But it's been like that situation forever. And I see a lot of yachts are still going to Minerva Reef now. So it seems to be, it's in a gray area, put it that way. But yachts and super yachts are able to visit it. So.
Okay. And would I be able to cruise Tonga and Fiji on the same trip?
You could do. So the distance between Tonga and the nearest islands of Fiji is about 300 nautical miles. So if you were to pick up your owner or charter in Tonga, you could do a week or in Tonga, sail over to Fiji. And when you come into you would actually come into the Lao group, which is the Eastern Isles. We would actually fly the customs immigration out in a plane to meet you in a remote island, check you in, and then you can continue to cruise Fiji. So yeah, that is one way to get the best of both worlds if you have time. But there's a lot to see in Fiji. If you actually wanted to circumnavigate all the islands, you need at least a month.
I want to go sailing with you, David, definitely.